Hi, it's Robin Sharma. Welcome to this hyper productivity session. So if you look at elite performing athletes, let's say Michael Jordan, for example, they all have one thing in common. They have a mindset of undefeatability. So Michael Jordan, when he was with the Chicago Bulls, and when he won his first world championship, he didn't celebrate only with the champagne and say, you know what, next year let's coast along. As soon as he won the championship, he was still on the court. He looked at the fans and the media, and he went, signaling he's going to get a second world championship. After he won the second world championship, he looked at the fans and the media, still on the court, still soaking in sweat, his teammates dancing and celebrating around him. Number 3. After 3, number 4. And the point is, for the A player, for the world champion, yesterday's world-class performance, yesterday's championship is today's new normal. And it comes back to that word, which is mindset. And here's the primary principle I want to offer to you. Your mindset determines the level of your performance. So positive psychologists have taught us that your story about your potential determines the extent of your potential. I'll repeat that again because it's so important. Your story, your mental story about your potential, what you can do, what you can achieve, who you can be in this world, the largeness of your dreams, what you can achieve. Your story about your potential determines whether you live your potential or not. Others, positive psychologists, call it the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're average, then you're going to be average. If you believe that you can't be BIW, best in the world at what you do, then you won't be best in the world at what you do. If you believe that you've got to live an ordinary life like the 95%, then you will live an ordinary life. Why? Because your story about your potential determines whether you're going to do the work required, invest in the practice, invest in the personal development, go to the conferences, get the coaching, surround yourself by the right people, and do the work required to live that story. I hope I'm being clear here. What I'm saying is, if you don't believe you can be world class, then you're not going to do the things and run the practices and install the habits and do the rituals that are needed to get to world class. If you look at the elite performers, the epic achievers in the world, it's not that they have different talent from you. It's not that they're smarter. It's not that they're gifted. You've heard me say that before. It's just they're doing different things. You know, a lot of top entrepreneurs and top creatives, for example, they love getting up early. If you look at the best athletes or the best musicians or the best artists, they relentlessly practice. If you look at the people who get awesome goals done, they all surround themselves with other A players. And you've heard me say this before, but if you're the smartest person on your street, find a new street. If you are the biggest thinker you know, maybe it's time to know some new people. If you're the most creative person in your community, maybe it's time to move to a new community because you know that you become your conversations. But my point is really this. Your story about your potential determines whether you live your potential or not. So the A player's gift is really the development of a mindset of undefeatability. You've really got to work on your mindset before you go out in the world and can become an extreme achiever. Because again, if you don't believe you can become an extreme achiever, you're not going to practice. You're going to give up when you encounter laughter or a setback. If you don't believe you can be a game changer and get more done, more achieved over the next 90 days than you ever have in the history of your career and your life, then you're not going to follow through. If you don't believe you can rise to world class and become one of the great ones, then you're not going to read the books. Then you're not going to review your goals every morning. Then you're not going to get fit like an elite athlete and again do all the things and install the habits needed for you to get to world class. So I've got some tips for you that I want to offer, some strategies that will help you build that mindset, because people always say, Robin, I want to develop the mindset of a warrior. How do I do it? And just let's remember the Spartan warrior's creed. The warrior who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. So here are 4 things that I want you to practice to install the mindset of undefeatability. Number 1, get into visualization. Tons of research, tons of science confirming that the elite athletes who visualize are almost practicing. I mean, there is a connection between the imagination and the motor part of the brain. And so when you visualize yourself going to work and being hyper productive, when you visualize yourself avoiding the energy vampires at work and focusing on what's most important, when you visualize yourself radiating positive energy versus looking depleted and tired, you're literally practicing the skills in your mind, which then allows you to execute far more elegantly and far more efficiently. When would you do this? Well, you know my 20-20-20 formula, right? You get up at 5 o'clock, you do it for 66 days, it becomes a habit. First 20 minutes from 5 to 5:20, that's all about movement, intense exercise. It wakes up your brain, it wakes up your body. In the second 20 minutes, I always encourage you, plan. First 20 minutes, move. Second 20 minutes, plan. Well, during that planning time, you can look at your big 5 goals, you can look at your top 5 values, you can look at your 1-page plan, but that's also a great time to spend even 2 minutes. You don't need to do this for half an hour. 2 minutes, closing your eyes and visualizing yourself living your perfect day. And you're going to start training your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to be your servant and to get giant things done every day. And then just to follow through on that 20-20-20 formula, it's now 5:40 to 6 o'clock. After move, plan, what do you do in that final 20-minute pocket? You learn. That's when you read. So my point really is the first strategy around developing that mindset of undefeatability is visualize. Number 2, meditation. Meditation is not new age and it's nothing spiritual. Meditation is simply a fantastic way, as confirmed by research, brain researchers, science. It's a fantastic way to slow down your brain. We all suffer from monkey mind syndrome. A lot of us have no mental peace. Well, if your mind is full of mess, how can you unleash world-class energy and epic performance on the world today? And so meditation is simply a way to still your mind. How is it different from visualization? Well, to me, visualization is mental rehearsal. Meditation is simply developing one-pointedness. So you literally close your eyes, again, first thing in the morning, maybe it's during that final 20-minute pocket after you've done some learning, or excuse me, during the planning pocket, right, 5:20 to 5:40, after you've reviewed your plans, maybe spend 5 minutes in meditation, another day 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes in visualization. And what do you do when you meditate? You close your eyes, you sit still, you breathe in through the nose, and you release through the mouth. In through the nose, nice long exhale through the mouth. In through the nose, your eyes are closed, so you're blocking out all the stimulation visually. You're going deeper into your body, and then you exhale stress, troubles, pain, confusion through your mouth. And even just through the breathing, you are going to slow down your heartbeat. You are going to slow down and connect with your center. Even just doing that for a few minutes to show you here, to demonstrate it, I just noticeably felt relaxed. And so the second strategy or tactic to develop your mindset is that meditation. It will connect you to you. It will connect you to your best self. It will help you release your worst self. Okay, the third thing, a dream collage. So we know that the conscious mind as well as the subconscious mind is profoundly influenced by visual stimuli. That's why if you see images on the news of murder and violence, unfortunately, if you spend time with video games, if you see negative images, if your workplace is a mess, if your home is dark and musty and depressing, you can never become an extreme achiever because, again, your environment shapes your performance. And so what I want you to do, strategy number 3, a dream collage. Pull out a piece of Bristol board, okay, and go get a bunch of magazines or go to the internet and and print out images of the person you want to be, the way you want to be in your career, what you want your life to look like. So it could be, if you want to be a world-class skier, it's a picture of someone skiing down a mountain in New Zealand. Let's say you want to have a Ferrari. Let's say you want to have an SUV. Let's say you want to have a new bicycle. Put that in there. Let's say you want the love of your life who you've never been able to find. Put a picture of someone who might look like the love of your life. Let's say you want to be the Jay-Z of your industry. Let's say you want to be the Elon Musk of what you do, or the Jeff Bezos of your field. Put pictures of those people, and then under that, write down, by this date, I will be the heavyweight champion of my industry. If you want to get into world-class physical fitness, get a magazine like Men's Fitness, and get a picture of someone who has the body and the face that you want to have. Okay, and you literally create a dream collage and you put it in a place that you can look at it every morning while the rest of the world is asleep. That will excite you. It will remind you. It will give you focus. It will impress your subconscious mind. And then you will find, almost automatically, you go out in the world and you start to see opportunities to get your goals done. You feel a sense of confidence. You start to build self-faith. You get clarity. Clarity is the DNA of mastery. A vague vision leads to vague results. A vague vision, my friend, leads to vague results. I'll say it again because I want you to brain tattoo it. A vague vision leads to vague results. You ask most people, and it's not a judgment, it's just an observation. Ask most people, what do you want to do with your life? What needs to happen over the next quarter for you to be just crushing it? What needs to happen by the end of next year for you to feel you're world class in the key areas of your life? Most people say, I don't know, that's a good question. Haven't really thought about it. So you want to literally build that dream collage and you want to look at it every day. And then the final thing, I'm going to get back to my old friend, which is journaling. Journaling is probably my number one go-to vehicle, my number one go-to tactic to install undefeatability, to keep me confident, to keep me focused, to keep me grateful, to keep me inspired, to produce extreme levels of achievement in my own life. And what's journaling? It's simply, I should have brought my journal here, but it's a black leather journal, okay? And blank pages inside. And just about every morning, I write what I'm grateful for. I write where I'm at in my life. I write what I need to celebrate, because a lot of us, we are always thinking about the mountaintop versus celebrating how far we've come up the mountaintop. And if all you think about is how far you have to go, you will be in a constant state of frustration versus a constant state of optimism. So get your journal in the morning, write out your goals. In the morning, write down what you're grateful for. Simple things. You know, if you have 2 eyes, write about your 2 eyes. If you have 2 feet, write about your 2 feet. It's like that Persian proverb, I cursed the fact I had no shoes until I saw the man who had no feet. In your journal, if you're going through a difficult time, pour out your pain onto that written page. If you're going through a great time, celebrate yourself. Right? Again, write your gratitude. Write your lessons. If you were at a dinner with some smart people yesterday, write about what you learned. That will give you high levels of awareness. Better choices, better results. With more awareness, you can repeat and replicate what you've been learning. In your journal, you can say, here's what I learned from that uber entrepreneur yesterday. Here's what I learned from that super fit woman or man in the gym. Here's what I learned from that audiobook I just listened to. Here's what I learned from that podcast I heard while I was driving to work yesterday. And you start to build this high level of awareness, and then you start to see around corners, and you start to spot opportunities, and you start to perform in ways that people say, you're gifted, how do you do that? It's just your high levels of awareness. You're really clear on what works. You're really clear on your winning formula. You're really clear on what the best do. And once you know what the best do, then you have the choice to execute on what you know. So I once worked with a venture capitalist, and I was giving him some advice, helping him scale his company, helping him build a world-class life. And he shared a strategy with me that he said was central to his business success, and it was the one-page plan. He basically said, if you can't articulate what is most important on one page, then you haven't thought your vision and the business and the plan and the sequencing through carefully enough. And really it makes me think of what Mark Twain once said. He said, you know, sorry I wrote you a long letter. I didn't have time to write you a short one. And so it's just like, you know, I'll take you back to when you were in school. Just imagine when you studied for a subject, maybe it was math, maybe it was geography, maybe it was English. When you had really studied, you knew with precision what to put in and what not to put in. But when you hadn't studied and you really didn't master the subject and you didn't know it very well, you tried to put in everything because you really couldn't discern and you really weren't clear what the true answer was. I remember when I was in law school, there was the gold medalist, and I still remember hearing the story that almost became legendary. He walked into a law school exam where he was asked to write an essay, and his answer was one sentence. Now that takes a lot of guts, a lot of audacity, but he knew the subject so well, he stripped away all of the extra and he gave the professor the one line that showed how much he knew and understood the question and presented the answer. So what's the one-page plan? It's pretty much this. It's a one-page document that you carry with you, that you'll look at frequently through the day to impress your conscious and your subconscious mind. You look at it to build your focus. You'll look at it to release dopamine, which is the inspirational neurotransmitter. You carry this one-page plan. You'll look at it in the morning during your 5 to 6 o'clock practice time. During that second 20 minutes, you know my 20-20-20 formula. First 20 minutes move, which is intense exercise from 5 to 5:20. Second 20 minutes plan. Right? Look at your one-page plan. Look at your goals. You know, iterate them, innovate them, connect with them. And then the third thing to do during that 20-20-20 formula from 5 to 6, the final, after move, after plan, learn. So let me go deep and granular into the one-page plan. The first thing you're going to have on it is what I call your mighty why. And this is really your cause. This is your mission. Martin Luther King Jr. said it brilliantly. He said, if you have not discovered something you were willing to die for, then you are not fit to live. And if you look at the best of the best, the extreme achievers, they are so in love and so passionate, so ridiculously connected to their vision, they would take a bullet for it. So the first thing on the one-page plan is your mighty why. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you building the business? Or what is your dream and why are you doing it? And, you know, Da Vinci said it really well. He said, fix your course to a star, then you can navigate any storm. Once you know your mighty why, and I've been talking about the mighty why for 18 years, now it's been popularized by a bunch of books, which is fantastic. You know, it's all good. There is no competition. But the point is, you've got to know your mighty why. You've got to develop and clarify your burning obsession, and that's one paragraph. After that, what are you going to have? Your top 5 values. And values are just the things you value. I mean, if you value authenticity, then if everyone else around you isn't being authentic, stay true to you. You know, maybe your second value is honesty. So if everyone in your industry or the people around you are lying, don't be seduced into thinking they're doing something right. Success is being true to your values, even if you are an army of one. So the second thing you want to have, your top 5 values. What comes next on your one-page plan? It's your big 5 for this year. The 5 mission-critical goals that you absolutely must achieve by the end of the year for this to be the single greatest year you've had in the history of your life. And that's where the virtuosos and extreme achievers play. They want every single year to be better than the year before. And then finally on that one page, you have your best 10 goals. So these are literally the 10 goals you must achieve between now and the end of the year for this to be the year that made history, the game-changing year. And this is basically sequencing or reverse engineering your big 5. So your big 5 might be number 1, you know, become a world-class family man or family woman. Number 2, it might be hit a certain level of sales and profit in your business. Number 3, it might be, you know, master skiing or sailing this year. Number 4, it might mean taking 75 days off while growing my sales. So I don't know what your big 5 is going to be, but then in the top 10 goals area, you're going to reverse engineer and you're going to come up with 10 sequencing goals that will allow you to achieve your big 5. Okay, so maybe the first goal in the 10 will be related to the big 5 around being a world-class family person, and it might be every Wednesday night and every Saturday and Sunday night of every week for the rest of this year, I'm going to have a family dinner. That would be one goal. Okay, so that's the big 5. That's the one-page plan strategy. It's worked so well with the ultra successful people that I have the privilege to coach as a private advisor. It's worked so well for the executives that I've worked with at their events and within their organizations, and it's worked so well for me in my own life. It really strips down the complexity to utter simplicity, and then you just look at that one-page plan. And another good thing you can do is even rewrite the one-page plan, or maybe it's your big 5 for the year. Rewrite it every morning during that 20 minutes of planning at 5:20 to 5:40, and that writing out your big 5 is really powerful to locking in your focus and training your brain to develop the confidence to get your goal done. So this year and the next 12 months are the single greatest 12 months in the history of your life. So this has been a bit of a longer hyperproductivity session, but I hope it's been valuable, hope it's been inspirational, and more than anything else, I hope it's been of service to you so you get the ideas done. Because as you know, all extreme achievers have two things in common. They are all about action and they are all about execution. Nothing happens until you move. So if you haven't acted on these ideas that I've been sharing, please today act on them. And what you start to do, it's a muscle. Execution and action is a muscle, just like physical muscles. And the more you act on opportunities, the more you act and execute on great ideas, the stronger it starts to grow. And pretty soon you get to a place where you see an opportunity and you hear an idea and it's automatic. You just get it done and people say, wow, you are so confident and so strong, you're gifted. And silently you know it's all about practice. I'll talk to you soon. Hope I've been helpful to you. Congratulations on all your progress.